Yeah, hello all. Good evening. So, welcome to today's index analysis. So, let us get started. First, as we know, the biggest news in the global markets is the deal which is reached between Democrats and Republicans about the debt ceiling. So, U.S. debt ceiling ultimately, I think the issue has been resolved, the standoff, and then I mean it was meant to be resolved, but it took. I mean, this is a ritual which happens every year, is what I understand. And then looking at some key points from the debt ceiling deal is that the debt ceiling currently suspended, till 2025. They've taken that leeway, and then there is a cap on spending, of course, which the Republicans wanted, but it's not in defense. And you know why it's not in defense? Because of the U.S. spending of defense across the world. And after that you can also see that there is some unspent covid funds which are supposed to be returned, and this amount is expected to be around $30 billion. So this is again a kind of market takes it a very positive way, because it is like injecting liquidity into the system. So a type of quantitative easing is what we can say, and markets react to such news very positively. Welfare has been tinkered with, but there's no overall as such. And then there's some specific news with respect to the tax rules on wealthy Americans, etc. So overall, the point here is that the uncertainty which the market was looking at is finally resolved, and the law would soon be passed. And accordingly, I think this was reflecting in our bullish positions from Friday itself. We discussed about the EOD data, which showed that the prop desk and FIs had already created a bullish position on Friday end of the day data, and clients were on the bearish side. So it was clear cut uh, direction that the market would be bullish today. And accordingly, we opened up with a good gap up, especially Bank Nifty, which opened at all time high. And since it was at all time high, with this news in the context, so obviously that the gap would sustain, but will it go higher? That confirmation, we needed to trade in the intraday. So I'll come to that in a while. But looking at the some posts which I made during the course of the day, essentially I posted that 44 300. This is a zone of passive buyers, and you could see this. I'll just explain while explaining the order flow. So this zone could act as support. We could see some good buying prints around this level 40 for 300. So since it was passive buying, it is expected to give some support like stacked imbalances. And I also took a bullish trade here. And once after that, the Nifty was not so strong compared to Bank Nifty. Nifty faced some resistance at 18700 zone, and then Bank Nifty finally hit this limit seller at the 44 500 zone. That is where it was clear that Bank Nifty is not going up for the day. And yeah, that's it. Most of the updates, and Nifty also had decent support at the bottom, so it was clear that Nifty wasn't falling. So it was a kind of bullish to sideways day because of the gap up context. So coming to the was open interest. When you look at the open interest, first looking at Nifty, of course Nifty was relatively bullish in terms of gap up, and you can see that there is almost 1.48 crores for puts being written. I'm just taking plus or minus 5 of ATM strikes and 80.75 calls being written. And around the ATM we can see that there's more put writing in Nifty, and also there are some call unwinding taking place. So the interest, the support is getting shifted. The supports are getting framed at the higher levels, which is good news for the market going up. And overall, Nifty's when you see the positions around the ATM strikes, we find that it's fairly balanced with PCR of zero point 0.8, which is neither too bullish nor bearish. It is pretty much neutral. So nothing much to comment on the overall thing. It's very neutral with a bullish bias, we can say. Coming to Bank Nifty, since Bank Nifty is the one which reached the all-time high today, uh, and obvious that when something reaches its all-time high, it would face some resistance. Accordingly, we could see that the put rating was relatively, of course, more, but compared to Nifty, the put change or the put rating in Bank Nifty was a bit less. And then there is call rating also, relatively. So it's like slightly bullish bias for the day. Around the 18 strikes, of course, there was a call unwinding as the market went higher, and you could see some amount of put rating. Overall, it is a very much balanced situation. And but Bank Nifty's overall PCR is zero point 0.7, which is a bit a bit, not say bearish, but a bit bearish. But around the ATM strikes, I mean, this number you can see because of this 44,500 call wall. This is a very strong, call wall, and we'll discuss the order flow logic also behind this. Maybe 44,500 may be a resistance for this expiry. So, and then yeah, this call wall seems to be stronger, you know, for this week. And coming to the OI change throughout the day, around the ATM strikes, we could find that there was both call writing as well as put writing from this line graph. You can see that both call writing and put writing was taking place, and towards the end there was unwinding of both. So since there was both call writing and put writing, from there so we could conclude that the day is kind of going to be range bound from the OI context. And also here you could see that there is put writing as it went higher, and there's a call unwinding. But post reaching the tops, the put writing enthusiasm decreased, and you could see some call writing also, and then put unwinding. So overall, the OI front was pretty. You can say, since writing was happening at both the levels, and already market has opened as a gap up. So not much enthusiasm. Maybe after reaching a certain level, to take the market further higher. And this could easily be confirmed from the order flow. Coming to first Bank Nifty's order flow. So when you look at Bank Nifty, yeah, this is today's order flow of Bank Nifty. So this is what I posted in the morning, that after the market opened gap up, it clearly headed in a single direction, and you could see these prints. So these prints is what I refer to as passive buying. So if these passive buying zones are strong supports, sometimes they are even stronger than stacked imbalances. And you could see that how beautifully Bank Nifty, yeah, you can see that they acted as support even during the intraday dip, right? So that is why these POCs, I mean, this is actually a POC, point of control. So where this could act as strong support. So this is about the initial update which I gave in the morning. And then after reaching the first massive bullish candle, Bank Nifty went sideways. It crossed VWAP, and it also found some more support, some more buying at the higher levels. But at this psychological level, that is 44 500, you can see here that we Bank Nifty hit a limit seller, and that is where when you know across link the concept of OI also, you can find that 44,500 is having a huge call resistance. So that is where we can find the limit seller. So both are complementary, order flow and OI. So this, I mean, once you see such a good print, you just mark the high of that candle, and that would safely act as a resistance throughout the day, and provides shorting opportunities. But since Bank Nifty was very bullish, the shorting opportunity should be looked for as a scalping thing, just for some points, not much on the downside. In fact, I would suggest uh, not to short Bank Nifty, in fact. But if you are very good at such shorting up, I mean, scalping thing, it definitely can be taken with such a confirmation. And then the price took resistance multiple times. You can see this is the first limit seller entry, and then post that is the second time, and also this is the third time. So it's very clear that this level will not be broken today. And then there was a small dip, and this dip again found support at the 44,300 zone, which was morning point of control, as I just explained. Yeah, the same thing, right? So always intraday supports, intraday levels gives a dynamic supports and resistances. So this was where Bank Nifty almost took support. And yeah, it just closed on a sideways note. Coming to Nifty, Nifty was relatively, you can say, uh, we cannot say relatively weaker, but Since Bank Nifty has crossed the all-time highs, like it has broken the resistance, so that's why it went a bit, higher. And Nifty, you can see the first kind of Nifty is not as bullish as Bank Nifty, but still the delta is very healthy. But you should not get deceived by this delta, because this entire delta is contributed by this, you can say, this POC. You can see on this right hand side there is 186k, right? So this is 186k. This is happening at around this zone, that is 18700 zone on the right hand side of the point of control, which is on the ask side. So on the ask side, if this is taking place and the price not able to going up, so this is a case of passive sellers, so, or the limit sellers, which is what I mentioned. So many people were asking about how to use the imbalance chart. So this, maybe today was a good example of how both levels could have been played. So this is a good limit selling condition, uh, and then the price took resistance at that level. It went down, but here it found the support. So again, you could find some good limit buying taking place, and limit buying level shifted a bit higher. Also, you can see here good limit buying prints. Here you could see 154k. This is not a negative. This is not a red delta. See, delta appears red because it's the delta is shown on the bid side, but this we must interpret this as a passive buyer, just like you interpret this as passive seller. So this is a passive seller here. So this is a passive buyer. This is also a passive buyer. So, and then you could see market again when the dip happened, like Bank Nifty, price took support from the same zone. So that's how you confirm passive buyers and passive sellers. And accordingly, yeah, almost since there was a resistance at 17 18,700 level, just mark the high of the first candle. And then you can see here that once Nifty reached here, usually when breakout happens, it should happen with a higher delta. As you can see here, when Nifty approached the breakout zone, its delta actually reduced. So it confirms that there's no interest to take the price higher or to do a breakout. And then you can also confirm here by further limit selling at same levels. So accordingly, the price just came back, and then again went higher. Again, it provided a shorting opportunity here. So overall, it is a range bound day, where there was both up moves and as well as down moves. So you have to play these moves with precision. You need to identify these levels, and also play like the limit sellers, especially by doing limit buying and limit selling at these crucial levels. Else the range is very small. It can also be a no trade day for those who don't prefer such narrow ranges. So this is about the order flow. Coming to the price chart, I think we've been discussing that once Bank Nifty crossed its 61% retracement level, it is heading towards the all-time high. So let me just replay that chart again. So we discussed this multiple times, that when Bank Nifty, if you look at this from the all-time high, right? So when from the all-time high to the recent swing, so this is when this was on 13th of April, 1.5 months before, when Bank Nifty with a bullish candle came towards the golden ratio zone. So we've been discussing since then that if Bank Nifty it gives a close above that, it consolidated a long lot of time, and then it gave a up move. So this consolidation around the 61% golden ratio zone was a good confirmation that Bank Nifty would be heading towards its all-time swing. And then it also broke the 70.786 Fibonacci ratio. That is also another confirmation. And then this zone, it spent a lot of time, and ultimately you could see how the price did some time-based correction, and ultimately uh, you can see how the sideways price action happened. And today it closed above the resistance, all-time high. So this is how with the the simple price action and the fibo levels, one could anticipate the uh, the the reversal. And then coming to Nifty, Nifty still has not yet reached the all-time high. So when you just look at Nifty's recent swing, you can just yeah, this maybe we can take this thing also. It's almost there. Nifty is almost there to its recent swing. So if you try to use this same tool, you find that yeah, Nifty is comfortably above the golden ratio and the 0.786 level, and it is almost close to hit this swing. And once it breaches this swing, I think this swing is definitely on. So the gap was held today. It not fill the gap, but overall, if Nifty is still remaining in this territory, still bullish, and it can also consolidate sometime here and can break on the upside. So today the U.S. markets being closed, despite that, markets maintain that bullish stance. So overall, very market is still taking. I mean, Nifty was 100 points up, and looking at some other heavyweights, you can see here that ITC is up to 1.2%, and SBI. So it was the State Bank of India and the index heavyweight HDFC Bank, which actually contributed to most of Bank Nifty's move, which in a sense is healthy. Heavyweights contributing to the move, and tomorrow is Fin Nifty's expiry, so uh, let us look about it tomorrow itself. So yeah, that's it. Overall, since the US markets are closed today, so there'll be no global cues running into tomorrow's expiry. So maybe the max pain levels, etc., should be looked into tomorrow. So overall, hope this analysis was helpful. Yeah, thank you.